On the chilly morning of October 14, 2021, the small town of Wexler, Montana woke to fog and fear. Clara Harris, 32, a well-loved nurse at Wexler Regional Medical Center, didn't show up for her 7 a.m. shift. It was unlike her, punctual to a fault. Her friend and colleague, Nurse Louise Cortez, called Clara's cell repeatedly. No answer. By noon, after Clara missed a patient's scheduled chemotherapy treatment, the hospital staff knew something was wrong. Louise drove to Clara's ranch-style home just off Maple Lane. Her car was still in the driveway. The door was locked. No signs of forced entry. Clara's dog, Baxter, a golden retriever, barked frantically from inside the house. But no sign of Clara. By nightfall, Wexler Police Department (PD) had launched a missing person investigation. In a town where everyone knew everyone, Clara's disappearance hit like a death in the family. She was known for her warm smile, tireless work ethic, and deep compassion for her patients. Her parents had died in a car accident when she was 17, and Clara had remained in Wexler ever since, seemingly married to her work. The community lit candles. Prayer vigils were held. Volunteers combed the wooded areas outside town. The sheriff's department brought in dogs, helicopters, and eventually the FBI. The initial theory was random abduction, but there were no signs of struggle, no fingerprints, no witnesses. Her phone and purse were missing. Surveillance footage from nearby gas stations and intersections turned up nothing. But as investigators probed deeper, cracks began to appear in the seemingly perfect life of Clara Harris. It began with a laptop. Inside Clara's bedroom, under a false bottom drawer, police found a silver MacBook. Password protected. The FBI's cyber team cracked it within days. What they found was unexpected. Multiple anonymous email accounts, encrypted chat apps, and a private journal file. Clara had been living a double life. Her journal detailed a 2-year affair with a married man, Dr. Caleb Walker, head of oncology at Wexler Regional Medical Center. Known for his stoic demeanor and immaculate professionalism, Walker was also a prominent member of the local church and father of 2. Clara's journal was a raw confession. She had fallen in love, but Walker had refused to leave his wife. And just 3 days before her disappearance, Clara had given him an ultimatum. "If you don't tell her, I will. I'm tired of hiding." Journal entry dated October 11th. Investigators shifted focus. This wasn't a random act. It was beginning to look personal. Dr. Walker was brought in for questioning. He denied everything, but investigators found security footage of him leaving the hospital at 10:47 p.m. on October 13th, just an hour after Clara's last known communication. He told detectives he went for a late-night drive to clear his head. His alibi couldn't be confirmed. His phone had been turned off that night. Search warrants were issued for his home, car, and office. In the trunk of his Audi, forensic experts found traces of blood, too little to see, but enough for a luminol test. It matched Clara's DNA. That was enough for an arrest. Wexler gasped when Dr. Walker was taken into custody. The beloved, brilliant doctor, now accused of murdering the town's favorite nurse. But something didn't sit right with lead detective Andrea Collins. "It was too clean," she later said. "Too convenient." 10 days after Clara's disappearance, a jogger found a phone half buried in the mud along Route 9, 12 miles outside Wexler. It was Clara's. Forensics pulled deleted data from the SIM card. A shocking series of text messages emerged. Not from Dr. Walker, but from someone listed as M. The messages dated back months. "He's lying to you. I saw him with her again. You deserve better. Maybe we can finally talk. In person. Come tonight. I'll explain everything." On October 13th, the last message. "Park near the old ranger station. 11:30. Come alone." Investigators traced the number to a burner phone bought in nearby Helena. But security footage from the hardware store where the burner was purchased showed something chilling. Luis Cortez, Clara's former school mate. Confronted with the footage, Luis broke down. His confession stunned everyone. He and Clara had been friends since grade school, and now they are co-workers. But in Luis's eyes, they were more. He had loved Clara secretly, deeply, And for years, he had stood by her through heartbreaks and family deaths, always in the background, always hoping. When he learned of Clara's affair with Dr. Walker, someone he viewed as cold, manipulative, and married, Luis felt betrayed. Not just by Clara's secrecy, but by the realization that he had never stood a chance. He created the anonymous M persona to drive a wedge between Clara and Walker. But it didn't work. Clara was in too deep. Luis claimed she only wanted to meet and talk. But that night, under the cover of darkness, in the woods by the old ranger station, something went horribly wrong. They argued. Clara threatened to go public, not just about Walker, but now about Luis's lies. She turned to walk away. Luis grabbed her, shoved her in anger. Clara fell, hit her head on a rock. Panicking, Luis dragged her body to a nearby ravine and covered it with leaves and branches. He deleted the burner phone data and returned to town before sunrise. Clara's body was recovered 4 days later. Luis Cortez was charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice. Dr. Walker, though cleared of all charges, resigned from Wexler Regional. His marriage fell apart shortly after. The town of Wexler would never be the same. They mourned not just the loss of Clara, but the innocence they thought their tight-knit community held. If someone like Luis, devoted, quiet, kind, could harbor such rage and hurt, what else had they missed? At Clara's memorial, hundreds gathered. Former patients, neighbors, even Dr. Walker. They planted a tree in the hospital garden in her honor. Detective Collins, in an interview months later, said, "This case wasn't about a love triangle. It was about loneliness, about the silent storms people carry, even in places that seem safe and small." Clara's life touched many. But in the end, it was her absence that revealed the truths none of us were ready to see.